Sometimes we find ourselves in relationships with friends, with family members, with the people that we love that take too much from us. We can find ourselves feeling overwhelmed emotionally, psychologically, because they can create this storm within us where we never have enough time for ourselves, because it can be draining to be with a person who takes too much from you, who requires too much of your bandwidth, too much of your thinking, too much of your time, too much of your attention. It doesn't leave you enough time to actually be with yourself. A lot of people in society are dealing with people who are taking too much from them and causing chaos, causing toxicity, causing anger, causing drama, causing a vacuum of them not being able to focus on themselves and actually live a healthy, vibrant life. If you haven't seen part 1 of this conversation, sometimes people take too much from us. I'll link to it above. It can be difficult to advocate for ourselves when we feel emotionally, psychologically, or financially responsible for somebody that is taking too much from us. The reason why that is because sometimes we've taken on the internal burden of their struggles, of their weaknesses, of their inability to figure it out, to take ownership of their lives, to actually fix or resolve the problems that are always coming up. We've taken that ownership instead of understand that some of that ownership is not ours. It may be them not taking ownership of what is theirs to actually evolve and grow through. And they also may be manipulating us to make us feel like we're the only ones that can figure everything out, that know how to do everything, that are so much better at everything, and they can take advantage of us in that way. They may not necessarily be intentionally trying to take advantage of us. It could be a learned behavior that they're bringing back from a past relationship or from an early childhood conditioning process. The important thing to realize is that you have to begin analyzing that relationship and your participation in it in an objective way. Because if you don't, you're at risk for losing your autonomy, your ability to feel healthy, sane, in control of your own development, and meeting your own needs. So what do you do to advocate for yourself once you realize you're in a relationship that takes too much from you? You have to begin observing what the dynamic is. It's important to tune in to what's happening inside of yourself. What's happening to you when these experiences happen? Are you getting angry? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling frustrated? Do you feel powerless? Is the experience of your life becoming toxic, draining? Is it starting to take the joy from you? Does it remove your sense of just being able to be in peace? What's happening in your emotions? What's happening in your feeling body? What is this person triggering? Are they triggering an early childhood trauma? What are the stories that are going through your head? There are many things that can happen in our inner world, our emotions and our psyche and our feeling world, that can really cause us to become dysfunctional and not be able to actually have the time to develop and heal and become whole and vibrant. So really going inside and taking inventory of what you feel will be a first step. I would suggest writing these things out on a piece of paper, and you can look at them in a logical way to help you understand, wow, this is the totality of what I've been experiencing every day. It will help you understand how much stress you're enduring, whether that's fair to you, what is truly yours to own, what is coming because of this other person or these other relationships that you have. Maybe if you're feeling this frustration, you might go to the mall and shop and spend tons of money because you need to feel something better than what you felt. So it's important to understand what behaviors are coming from this emotional and psychological overwhelm, disappointment, anger, whatever it is that this relationship's making you feel. Once you understand the totality of how you're suffering, how often you're being caused to suffer, you'll really begin to understand that you are a very overwhelmed person who is taking on the burden of someone else who has been quite selfish to put you in a seat of responsibility that is not yours to own. Once you realize what this person has been doing to you, you need to calculate whether or not you feel it's intentional. You need to understand whether or not this person has a manipulative way of coping with life, if they are manipulating you, or if they're truly doing this unintentionally. That way you can really begin to take in the totality of what you're experiencing. And once you begin to become aware if this person is malignant and is harming you on purpose, or if this person is innocent but just literally has no coping skills and doesn't know what to do, you can begin to decide how to set up boundaries. Hi everybody, join me at Patreon, where I'm creating a safe space where you can begin really understanding yourself from an emotional level, understanding how to process the experiences of your life, and how to really live in your truth and in the seat of your power. I hope you'll come and join me for the twice-a-month calls I'm going to be having. And I'm going to be sending out exclusive weekly videos to my Patreon supporters. Become a part of our growing emotionally supportive community. I hope to see you there. It's important that you make them the ones that are in control of the process of fixing themselves. A lot of people who have this learned helplessness, they identify within as a kind of victim that just doesn't know what to do. But the truth is in life, none of us really know what to do. We all just do until we make a mistake and we learn and we do differently. So not placating that victim role that they see themselves as is very, very important. It's important not only for you, but also for them, because at some point they need to take ownership of the outcomes. They need to move forward with their development, how they make choices in the world, how they cope with difficulties, and how they grow up and mature. They need to be pushed into an environment where they are accountable for the outcomes. So once you've done the work to process what this relationship is taking from you and what the cost is, it's important to now begin to understand how to set up boundaries for yourself, how to communicate to that person what is acceptable and what is no longer acceptable. Setting up boundaries for yourself is a really important part of growth. Everybody in the world needs to have boundaries in place. If you don't have boundaries in place, anybody can take anything they want from you and manipulate you and destroy your life, sometimes for fun. So it's important to realize that boundaries are in your best interest, and you will need to understand how to set up many different types of boundaries with many different types of relationships so that you're not taken advantage of. If you're a person who has a lot of compassion for people, then you're an easy target for people to manipulate and take advantage of and deceive you and take more from you than is fair to you. You're going to want to take inventory of your own personal life. What are your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your needs? You're going to want to be honest and fair to yourself about what you're seeing, because what you're going to want to know is how much time do I need to myself so that I can really focus on what it is that I'm here to do that would bring me joy, peace, contentment, and meaning. And once you really focus on meeting your own needs and developing at all the levels that you want to develop at, you'll understand how much extra time you might have to help other people, or maybe you won't have extra time to help other people. And in this way, you'll know, okay, I need to set a boundary because this person that I'm in a relationship with is taking too much from me. I won't be able to do X, Y, Z the way that my heart feels is important to me because this person wants to take all of the time, all of the resources, all of my emotional, psychological energy, all of whatever you're giving. They want to take all of it. And so you have to be the person that vets the energy that you have, the goals that you have, and the needs that you have, and whether it's reasonable for you to be able to give what this person is taking. You also have to be very realistic about the fact that you are not this person's mother. And if you are this person's mother, you have to be realistic about what age this person is in and whether or not it's helping this person develop and mature by you overgiving to them. It's an analyzation process of really being fair and honest within yourself and saying, this person is taking these things from me and they would be better served if they gave those things to themselves and they helped themselves grow and develop. And I'm not helping them by coddling them and overprotecting them and giving them too much, because you're creating a learned dependency, which means that they're going to become more and more reactive, more and more angry, and less capable of helping themselves over time. So you will magnify the problem over time. It will continue to grow. It will not decrease. So understanding how to set up that boundary and speak your truth and hold to that boundary is very, very important. So when you realize you need to set up a boundary with somebody, then it's important for you to approach the topic with them, to say, look, you're taking too much. I think it's in your best interest to take ownership of the process, because it's in your best interest to develop and to grow and be in the seat of your own power for your own life, choices, decisions, and outcomes. I can't be the one that's in charge of your growth, because you are here to live your life and mature and grow. And I am here to do the same. We are sovereign individuals, and we need to develop as sovereign individuals. You can have a connection with somebody, but having a dependency, that's where things get dysfunctional and unhealthy. So stating your boundary, what you will and will not do, is very important. Be very clear and hold steadfast to that. Maybe you have a child who's been taking advantage of you financially. Maybe your child gets very angry when you don't buy them something, when you don't coddle them with money and gifts, and they're really terrorizing you and creating fear of embarrassing you, humiliating you. That experience is only going to grow and magnify over time. And once they realize, oh, this person's afraid of me, and every time I freak out and I frighten them and I go into a rage, they're more scared of me and they give me even more. It's not helping. It's not helping. It's making the problem worse. And you're putting yourself and this other person in danger by doing that. So the important thing is to draw that boundary and to stop that behavior as early as possible, because as they grow up, it becomes very dangerous scenarios that people can step into to make their anger be heard. So set that boundary up. Let's say you're in a love relationship where one partner is controlling the other. If you're allowing someone to control you and you don't have control of your ability to make your own decisions, your ability to be free to do whatever you choose without this person getting upset with you, then there's an imbalance of power, because you should be able to be in a relationship and make your own choices and decisions, as long as it doesn't damage the relationship or the finances in some serious way. You should be able to make those choices without having to lose favor with your partner. People can psychologically control you and manipulate you, and this is not healthy for you. It's not fair to you. So setting a boundary and saying, hey, look, I love you, but I'm not willing to give up my rights as a human being. I'm not willing to stop developing myself emotionally, physically, spiritually, psychologically for you. I'm not going to do that. I love you, but if you can't respect me, I'm going to have to leave this relationship. Drawing that line in the sand and really staking a very strong boundary is very important. I want to say though, if this person is physically dangerous or harmful to you, don't do that. Leave without ever saying anything. Leave, okay? If someone is dangerous to you, if they are homicidal, do not confront them with your boundaries. Leave. Don't come back. That is a no contact rule. So I just want to be clear. Boundaries are important to people who are not going to try to murder you or hurt you. But if they are that way, you need to leave that relationship anyway, because they're not safe people to be investing with. Now, you may decide through this process that this relationship is not good for you. It's stunting your growth. It's making you miserable. There's nothing positive coming from it that you can really make sense of. It's okay to let go. It's okay to change your life. No matter what age you are, it is okay to say, you know what? I think I'm going to go have a happy life on my own, because there are lots of people in the world. There are lots of animals. There's huge amount of nature. There are so many things to connect with. There are so many beautiful memories and experiences that you can create. You don't need people in your life who will overuse you and make you feel like a crazy person. There is a life beyond attachments to people who might be taking too much. And I want you to feel comfortable exploring that if that feels like it's a really healthy and good idea for your wellness and your ability to develop your life in a meaningful way. I'm Dawn the Empath. I hope you've learned something about how to advocate for yourself if someone's taking too much for you. If you have any questions, comments, or stories you'd like to share, please leave that in the comments section below. Remember to focus on the quality of your experience, the quality of how you're growing and developing in this life, and whether or not you're connected to empowering your truth. Be well.